Hey friends, today we're talking about area of a circle. Okay, so let's explore the difference between circumference and area. Adrian wants to find the distance the dog runs one circle with the leash fully extended. Should she calculate the circumference or the area? If you look, the dog can go in this circle right here. So she wants to know this distance, which would be circumference. Why? Because it's measuring only the length of the circle. If she wants to figure out the amount of running room the dog has with the leash fully extended, she should calculate the area. The area is what takes up all this space. So if she wanted to find the running room that the dog would need, she would want to find the area. All right, so this is the formula for area. Please write it down in your notebook. Area equals pi times the radius squared. And we know that the radius is always half of the diameter, or it is the center point of a circle and it extends to one side of the circle. Okay, so if we have 2 inches, let's find the area. Well, first write the formula, pi r squared. So we do FWA again, formula, work. And so the area equals 3.14 times, and we always put this in parentheses so that way we know that we're squaring only the 2. And squaring something means you multiply it by itself this many times. So 2 times 2 is 4 times our pi, which is 3.14. And then when we multiply pi times 4, we get 12 and 56 hundredths. And these are inches. Now, when we do the 2, we're squaring the inches as well. So this is an inch times an inch, or an inch squared. So that's why we square our inches. This doesn't mean that this number is being squared. It's the inches that are squared. We have an inch by an inch shape, or an inch squared. And that's what is being filled up in this structure. Okay? Let's look at another example. Find the area of a circle with a radius of 14 and find the area of a circle with a radius of 3.2. Make sure that you round to the nearest tenth, okay? Go ahead and try these. Pause the video. Make sure you start with the formula, which is always area equaling pi times the radius squared, okay? I'll be back in just a second to show you the answers. All right, here we go with the first one. Okay, so this is 14 times 14, or 196. So when we multiply that by pi, we get 615 and 44 hundredths. And remember, this isn't just a 14, it's also a centimeter times a centimeter, or a centimeter squared. You don't have to show this work on the test, but make sure that you have it right now just for your notes. Okay, what about this one? Let's find the area of a circle. So pi r squared, we take and we square the 3.2 and get 10 and 24 hundredths. And so when we multiply that, we get 32 and 1536. So 1536 10,000ths. They want us to round to the nearest tenth. So we get 32 and 2/10, and these are centimeters times centimeters, or centimeters squared. So that is our area. Okay, let's look at something different. Find the area of the face of the Virginia quarter with a diameter of 24 millimeters. Okay, we don't have a formula that allows us to use diameter for area. So if we know the diameter is 24, what do we know the radius is? 12. Make sure that you have this written down in your notebook, because that is significant that when you are writing these, that you put in the diameter and the radius to show that you've changed it. So when we square 12, we get 144, and when we multiply that by pi, we get 452 and 16 hundredths. But they want us to round it to the nearest tenth, so we get 452 and 2/10, because the 6 tells the 1 to go up by 1 on the 10th place. And these are millimeters squared for the area, because this isn't just a millimeter, it's a millimeter times a millimeter. When we square this 12, we're also squaring the millimeters. Okay, you go ahead and try this one. The bottom of a circular swimming pool with a diameter of 30 feet is painted blue. How many square feet are blue? Make sure you show your formula, your work, and your answer with labels. Okay, I'm going to go over the answer right now, so make sure that you have yours circled and check it even with a red pen, maybe for $1 tomorrow. All right, here we go. Okay, go ahead and look at my work. I squared my 15, which is 225, multiplied that by pi, and got 706 and 5/10 feet squared. But first thing that I did is I had to take my diameter and cut it in half. That's where I got that 15. So make sure you check it in red pen and you have everything down the same way that I do. If you don't, fix your work. All right. Find the area of a semicircle. What does that mean? That means we only want half of the circle. Okay, so that means we could find the area, pi r squared, and this is a diameter of 16, so we don't want that. We want the radius. So we're going to square it, 3.14 times 8 squared, which 8 times 8 gives you 64, and then when we multiply that by pi, we get a total of 296 hundredths. Now, we don't want, that's the area of the full circle. We want the area of a semicircle, so half of the circle. So what we need to do is we need to take this area and cut it in half. Basically, to get a semicircle, you take the area of a circle and you cut it in half by dividing by 2. So when we divide by 2, we get 148 hundredths, and these are inches squared because area is always in square inches. Remember, it's if you take a circle, you're filling it in the area with these little square inches. All right, try this one. On a basketball court, there is a semicircle above the free throw line that it has a radius of 6 feet. Find the area of the semicircle, round to the nearest tenth. I'll be back in just a second to show you the answer. Make sure you have a red pen so you can check your work. All right, here we go. So when I squared the radius, I got 36. I multiplied that by pi, and I got 113 and 4/100ths feet squared. But since it's a semicircle, remember we only want half. So cut that in half, and I get 56 and 52/100ths feet squared. Make sure that you've checked it with a red pen. All right. Find the area of the circle if the circumference is 140. Now it's coming full circle. Haha, get the joke? All right, so the circumference is pi times diameter, while area is pi times the radius squared. So if you have circumference, which is 140, then you have two key pieces of information to help you find diameter. You have pi and you have 140. Well, what's bothering D? The 3.14. So if we take and we divide 140 by pi, we will find the diameter. So divide both sides by pi, and our diameter equals an obnoxiously long number because it's irrational. So let's round it to the nearest hundredth. Or actually, let's round it to the nearest tenth. Okay, when in doubt, go ahead and round to the nearest tenth. So 44.6 would be my nearest tenth. What's the radius then? It would be 22.3. Cut everything in half. Okay, so now we have the diameter and the radius. Those are things that we know. Now what we need is our pi times our radius squared. So 3.14 times 22.3, and we're going to square it. Okay, when we do that, we get 497.29. Go ahead and leave that. Okay, it's not this irrational, crazy number. So leave it when it's in hundredths or thousandths, and then multiply that by pi. And now we get 1,561 and 4906. Okay, let's round again to the nearest tenth. So 1,561 and 5/10, and these are feet squared. Why? Because we're working in area. When it was circumference, it was just regular feet because it's just a measurement, while this is covering something. Okay, I want you to go ahead and see if you can do this one on your own. Find the area of the circle below if the circumference is 125 and 6/10 feet. Okay, I'll be back in just a second to show you the answers. Okay, take a look. Circumference equals pi times diameter. So divide by 3.14 and diameter equals 40. So you get a radius of 20 because you're cutting the diameter in half to get your radius. So now let's plug in the radius into r. 20 times 20 is 400 because we squared it, and then multiply that by 3.14 and we get 1,256 feet squared. Okay, make sure you have all that checked with your red pen. All right, this is the last one. I want to see if you can do this on your own. If you wait, the answer is going to pop up at the end, but please, you're not going to see my work this time. You're just going to see the answer. So if you get it right, good for you. If not, oops, I'm sorry. If you get it right, good for you. If not, it's okay. But please check it right or wrong with a red pen, okay? And I will see you next time. So here we go. Pause the video, try it, and then come back in just a second, and the answer will be shown. Okay, and here is the answer. Area equals 50 and 24 hundredths. Okay, if you did this problem, go ahead and quickly look at the answer, and I will see you next time.